You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
What's up, ladies? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Ladies Lounge. Welcome to the lounge. I appreciate y'all so much. I appreciate everybody who's my members. I thank y'all for tithing into the lounge. Your $3 once a month. I thank y'all. I definitely want to thank my mods for being on deck, holding down the chat. When I'm present, when I'm not present, I want to thank y'all as well. Those of you who are my subscribers, I appreciate y'all so much for being so supportive of me, for all the positive energy y'all bring to my platform. And if this is your first time checking out any of my content ever, and you love what you hear, you like the gems that I've been dropping, why not join the family? It's not going to cost you any money unless you want to become a member and tithe $3 once a month. Other than that, it's free. Join the family. Here at the lounge, we have a wonderful time. So just to kind of put y'all on a little bit when it comes to my content, I'm not really big on doing too much of a review on these reality shows unless somebody asks me my opinion and wants me to look into it. But for the most part, the direction I'm trying to go is I want to talk about ideal everyday issues that women go through. They need a safe place, a safe haven in which they can be in the company of other women who can relate to things with marriage, relationships, stepchildren, family, ex-wives, baby mamas, everyday issues that women go through that you can't always talk to your girlfriends about. You can't always talk to your mom or your sister about it. I mean, I get it, but that is my objective, is to make a safe space for us to talk about everyday issues. And, in addition, I don't mind, giving my review here and there if somebody really wants my opinion. And, I'm going to always keep my neck on Martell and Arion air mattress, so and whatever other issues I feel need to be addressed. So just want to let y'all know I don't always give the tea, but I give the tea in the truth. Okay, so I asked you all during in the community tab in the poll if you wanted me to do content on discussing in-laws, how to deal with them, how to be able to function with your significant other's family. And surprisingly, a lot of the women, y'all made it very clear that y'all would love for me to do content on how to deal with in-laws, and that is what I'm going to deliver today. Because again, even if you're not married, you may have a daughter that's married, or in a relationship where she don't get along with her baby daddy people, whatever. You may have a niece. You may have a friend. You may have a sister. Somebody somewhere is not getting along with their significant other's family. And keep in mind, one day this could very well be you. You may be single right now, and you don't have no interest in it because you're not a wife and you're not in a relationship. But one day you may very well get involved in a relationship in which this information may be very essential to you. So don't be so stuck in your ways to where you're not willing to learn and embrace different situations, different obstacles, because you just never know when it could be you. You feel me? So let me get right into the discussion, right? But it was imperative to talk about this at the lounge today, because that's what we do. Like you go into a real lounge, you have some drinks. On a girls' night, you chop it up with your girls, and y'all talk about, your little everyday common struggles, good, bad, ups and downs, whatever. So, wanted to get into this topic, right, at hand when it comes to dealing with in-laws. First of all, let me start off by saying this. Keep in mind that when you make the ultimate decision to spend your life with a man who you choose as your partner, as your husband, as your companion, as the father of your children, realize that everything that comes with him is going to become a part of you. I cannot stress this more than enough. I will repeat that again. Realize that when you marry a man, you build a relationship or a commitment. Any baggage that's attached to him somehow, in some way, is going to become your baggage. So, look deep before you leap. Evaluate his family. Evaluate what kind of relationship he has with his mother, his father, his parents, his siblings, his grandmother, people that he claims that is dear to him, people who probably are severely codependent upon him. Realize that the way that system was structured, you're either going to have to go along to get along or either get the hell on. It's going to be one or the other. I need you to get the Tyler Perry movies out your mind. I need you to get the reality shows, these picture perfect couples that act like, they get along so great with their mom-in-law and father-in-law. I want y'all to get all the fantasies out of your mind. The reality is these men are coming with baggage. What does that baggage consist of? It may come with a needy mama. A mama that's so codependent on her son. She acts like her son is her damn husband. She looks for him to pay her bills, looks for him to take her to the doctor, looks for him to keep up with her medicine for her. You may meet a man that has a very codependent, needy mother. Okay? You may meet a man that has an abusive, over-authoritative father who thinks that all women are beneath them. He may have a father that has this 1962 perception about women being obedient, and you have to use that tribal slap a hole, in the event she get out of line. He may have sisters that are very codependent or either trifling as hell, always calling them they calling him versus calling their baby daddy when they need something. Well, this your niece, this your nephew, you can't look out. Realize you have to pay attention to the program of how he functions with his family, because if you need to see the program, because if it's a program that you're not going to be able to marinate or merge with, you need to get out of Dodge, because the chances of you trying to change that and enforce that change is going to be very hard. And even if so, it takes years. It takes a lot of time to break down barriers in which you have to let it be known, hey, I know this is how y'all always done it, but I'm a part of his life now. So this tradition, this toxic tradition, this toxic foundation that y'all have become accustomed to using, that's not going to fly with me. So it takes years to break down those barriers, if you even ever get the opportunity to break them down, because some things are programmed to stay a certain way. You have to understand that, or else you're going to get frustrated or you're going to be miserable. So getting further into this, right, like I said, when you marry a man, you marry his baggage, everything that comes with him. He got an ex-wife, he got children, and I get it. I ain't dealing with no man who got kids. I ain't dealing with a man who have been married before. Listen, you don't know who you gonna love. You don't know who you gonna fall in love with. You don't know how things are gonna always go. All of us have planned something and went against the grain at one point or another. Oh, I'm never going to work a low minimum wage job. Well, when things got tight, you had to take whatever job you can get to pay your bills. So never say never, okay? You just don't know how life is going to unfold, how things are going to change, how your mindset is going to change. And if you meet somebody you love enough, you may be willing to make those necessary changes, right? So keep in mind, first things first, dealing with in-laws, those of you who are married, those of you who are thinking about getting married, those of you who are in a committed relationship, or you may have children without the commitment, whatever. But in more terms, I'm speaking in terms of women who are in relationships, okay? The baby mama, baby daddy, that's a whole different prerequisite for another time. I don't want to make this confusing, right? So to keep this simple, this is for women who are in marriages or who are in relationships, okay? A committed relationship in which you're going to be dealing with this man's family, okay? Not no wham bam, thank you ma'am. If you a side chick, one night stand, this is different. This is not your lane. But first thing is, I don't care how welcoming, how nice his mom or his daddy and everybody else is. Keep in mind, that's his family. At the end of the day, they're going to have his best interest at heart. Okay? These same mother-in-laws that smiling and kikiing and welcoming you to their home, fixing you a plate of food. These same father-in-laws that, and I don't want to discourage or scare anybody, because you do have some women that are blessed, that got really good in-laws that are genuinely loving, genuinely welcoming, and you should be able to sense it. If you have a relationship with God, your spirit with them should suit well. If the spirit with them in your presence is not sitting well with you, then that's already a red flag. So don't take this content as in a reason why you shouldn't get married, or you should never meet a man or deal with a man because you don't want to deal with his family. It's not the same case for every woman. Some women are genuinely blessed and got a great relationship with their mother-in-laws, got a great relationship with their father-in-laws. I get along really well with my mother-in-law. My father-in-law is another story. I had to put my foot down, because he has this 1962 where he's used to all the women, even his daughters, running him, regulating them, and getting them to do what he wants them to do. And I let him know, I'm your daughter-in-law, not your daughter. You're not going to run me and force me to do anything that I don't want to do. I don't care if you did it that way 40, 50 years. I am a new element into your tradition, and I don't have to float with your tradition. I don't have to float with it. So we get along, but it's just mutual, right? But mutual, put it that way. Nevertheless, like I said, don't let that discourage you, right? His family's gonna have his back, and sometimes some women learn this the hard way. When things get ugly, when there's a divorce, or they husband or significant other does something out of pocket, you look for the family to come and support you and help you to establish and come to your defense and tell him that he's wrong. You shouldn't be doing your wife this way. You shouldn't be doing your fiance this way. In many cases, most of the time, they're not going to check him for how he handles you. If you're looking for that, you're going to be disappointed. Every once in a while, you will have a mother-in-law that say, hey, I don't like how you treat your wife. Your dad used to do that to me. Don't do that to your wife. That's not nice. Father-in-law may step in, son, don't do your family like that. Don't cheat on your wife. Don't disrespect your wife. You have some families that are genuinely lovely, and they stand on their morals, not just in your face, but also behind your back. But in the imperfect world, which is the world we are living in, most of the time they're not going to run to your defense. Realize that is their son. They are your family through marriage, okay? You were not born and raised up under the same roof with him, and they're just gonna look out for his best interest, and you have to be in reality with that. I've heard situations of which family members knew that their son was messing around on their wife. He would bring the side chick or whatever to the cookout. Nobody said nothing to the wife about it. The mother knew that her son was talking or having inappropriate relations going on the side, and would still talk to her daughter-in-law like nothing was wrong, and wouldn't check her son like, hey, you don't need to be doing that. You got a beautiful wife. I've heard women say how they felt betrayed by their families, because y'all got to realize I take anger management. I'm an anger management specialist now. make sure I say Certified Anger Management Specialist 2, the CAMS. Anybody who needs to take anger management, hit me up, inbox me. I am certified through the state. All right. And we do it virtually online. So you don't have to leave your house and go to somebody's building. But we'll talk about that another day. Just wanted to put that out there in case you're court mandated or whatever. Inbox me. I'll help you out. I had somebody inbox me before and ask me about it, but my stuff wasn't straight. It's straight now. But yeah. But anyway, right. Get back to the point. That's his people. They're gonna look out for him. Don't look for his family to defend you. Okay? The less you look for that, the less disappointed you'll become. Keep in mind, that's your family, but through marriage. That's their son. They're gonna look out for him. They're gonna keep his secrets. They're not gonna let you in. They're gonna only let you in certain areas in which they want you to be in. They may let you into a cookout. They may let you into a Thanksgiving event or something. But when it comes to the dirt they son be doing, that part they're probably not going to pretty much let you in on. And you got to be prepared for that, Don't take it personal. At the end of the day, that's his family, right? Another thing is that you have to realize a lot of time, men don't have the balls to put their family in their place when they get out of hand. Now, this is why it's important that you know all of this before you get deep with this individual. You have to see how he handles his parents, and I don't mean in a disrespectful way. Of course, if he cussing his mom out and telling her to shut the F up, and just knowing his daddy, is sickly, and he never goes to the nursing home to go check on him and see about him, stuff like that you need to pay attention to. But what I'm saying is that, you have some men that are just pushovers. And in many cases, some of this comes from it's different dynamics. If he's the oldest or if he's the only male. In many instances, if you are with a man who is the only child or the only male, the chances of him having family that is going to be highly codependent on him, the risk is very high. Being that he was the oldest, and anytime you're the oldest in the family, everybody looks for you. You know what I mean? I know because I'm left to be the oldest. I had an older brother, but he passed away 1994. So it left me to be the oldest. To which everybody looks up to me. In the event something, a family situation goes down, on my mama's side, right? So you have to, again, be aware and know that some of these men are not going to, for instance, if his mama get out of pocket or his daddy get out of pocket and says something out the way to you and he doesn't say anything about it, it's a couple of factors that could be the reason for why he's not addressing it. For one is guilt. He know his family came up struggling. He know his family came up on poverty. He know they never had much. They had to slave and pretty much work for everything. So in his mind, he empathizes with his family due to the fact that their struggle has a lot to do, in his mind, he thinks their struggle has a lot to do with the way they perceive things and the way they handle things. So in his mind, it's like, okay, I know it ain't right that my mom and dad may be, giving my wife a hard time, but that's just their way. We came up struggling. We came up, not being able to fend for ourselves and have the best things out of life. So his guilt of what his parents went through and what he witnessed as a child may be one factor in why he will not really confront his parents. Especially if it's his family is he got a single mom, if it's only his mother raised him. Dealing with men that were raised in single parent households, especially if the primary parent was the mother, that's a very, very challenging situation, because a lot of these women, they treat their sons like their husband. These are the ones I call hubsons, where they can come off as so domineering with the sons to the point that it almost comes off as incestuous. She's always calling him, always looking for him to do for her, and nothing wrong with a man being very caring or caring to his mom, but some of these mothers are so obsessed with their sons to the point it comes off as you would think they have an incest relationship. She's always hugging and kissing on her son, and getting offensive if he's doing things for you that a man is supposed to do for, his wife. It's a very sticky, complicated situation, but basically, overall, I don't want to go too in depth with that. That'll be a whole sermon for another day, talking about men and their mothers, because that's a whole separate entity within itself, and it's going into a rabbit hole, so I'll save that for another time. But you have some men that just will not check relatives, especially parents, out of guilt, knowing that his family already is in a struggle, and he doesn't want to come off hard and difficult, knowing that they've already gone through stuff, as if everybody's family doesn't have something they're going through. It doesn't justify his parents, being inconsiderate and thoughtless and crossing boundaries. But nevertheless, that is just some of the things that you have to be aware of, right? So also when it comes to their siblings, that's also a sticky situation. Men have a in-depth, undying level of loyalty when it comes to their families. Even family members who have mistreated them. Men have a higher tolerance. It's more so particularly for their family. Men are just very headstrong on loyalty when it comes to their family, even down to their siblings. You have some of these siblings that are also, very dominating, and they also cross boundaries as well. You have some of these men, sometimes their brothers are inappropriate. You may not get along with your brother-in-law because he's inappropriate. Maybe he done tried to hit on you a couple of times, or either he's always trying to convince your significant other to go out with him, and he's like a man whore. He's always in the company of all kind of women, but yet he always wants your husband to hang out with him. And if your husband don't hang out with him, it's like, man, why you letting this woman control you, regulate you? Or he may have sisters, and we all know when it comes to dealing with women within itself is already a challenging thing. These sister-in-laws, they have a lot of ways like the mother to a degree, and the bad part is if the mother does not like you, 9 times out of 10 she's going to tell the siblings, the sisters of the family, and family sticks together. So you could probably have not done anything personally wrong to his sisters, but because you don't get along with the parents, the mother overstepping her boundaries, or the father, is automatically this association in which they feel like you are against them. Unless you have one or two that are mutual and they're realistic and they know the parents could be overbearing, and you can more so kind of reason with those kinds that are the ones who are neutral. But the ones who are ride or die for their family, don't matter who's right or wrong, those particular individuals you do not want to definitely get involved with too deep, because at the end of the day they're going to side with family, and I nothing disturbs me more than a person that's willing to side with family because they're blood. To me, right is right, wrong is wrong. You don't defend family because they're family. When they're wrong, they're wrong. I mean, it's a way you can't protect them if you're worried about coming off as disloyal. If you're going to defend them publicly, privately, you need to pull them aside. Hey, bro, you was wrong for how you went about that. You was wrong, but the truth is, in most cases, these men, they act so helpless when it comes to their family, and how their family draws the line, and how their family disrespects you. So I say that to say this: instead of getting angry with your significant other, catching an attitude, getting in your feelings, you have to take the initiative to put your foot down. Don't always look for these men, even your husbands, to come to your rescue. There's stuff between a rock and a hard place, because the truth is, sometimes these men, they cannot change mama, okay? Miss Betty is 75 going on 80 years old. She was a hot mess in her 20s. Even more hot mess now that she's in her late 70s going into her early 80s, if the good Lord doesn't call her home before then. So many cases, these men, they cannot do a whole lot with their family. Okay, everybody's grown. If his sisters feel some type of way, there's nothing he can do to change that. He can persuade them and try to, convince them to get to know you better. At the end of the day, people are going to feel the way they want to feel. But at the same token, that's even more so of the reason you have the right to put your foot down, because just like he cannot make them do or cannot make them respect, and he cannot protect you but so much from them, guess what? They're going to find out that he can't protect them from you either. That you two have your own rules, you have your boundaries, you have your limitations. And there's a way to go about this. For one, if you're married or involved with a man who has a dysfunctional family, 9 times out of 10, that family has been chaotic for years. And if you talk to people that associate with them, that 1 or 2 uncles that'll keep it real, who really know how effed up they really are and not afraid to say it. You just got to be able to have spiritual discernment and know who's a realist in the family, not somebody that's going to tell you one thing and then go behind your back and say something to the family to add more fuel to the fire. But every once in a while, you're going to have that one aunt, that one uncle who knows the family is trifling as hell. Okay? And if you are fortunate enough to find one that's real, that's someone within that family unit that's willing to be transparent, take that information. I was, in situations in which I dated certain guys or was in a relationship with certain guys, and I had a cousin or somebody mutually who knew them and said, hey, I'm going to just be honest with you. Greg is my boy, but his family, they are cartoon characters, just letting you know. His father has a drinking problem. His mother is overly submissive. She'll do whatever he says do. She's real nice and polite, but at the same time, she's going to defend her husband if the husband disrespects you. If you're fortunate enough to have people that put you on and tell you the real deal, take that information and retain it, if you feel comfortable enough to do so, but of course, rationalize, because if that uncle or that aunt did something dirty for your husband's significant other's people not to deal with them, then their advice is pretty much voided. But for the most part, somebody who's reasonable and is going to keep it 100 and let you know really what's going on. In a perfect world, a lot of times we want these men to be transparent with us. We want these men to tell us the dysfunction within their families. We want them to tell us the mental illnesses within their family. We want them to share with us those generational curses that has transcended from generation to generation. Some men, and if you are lucky enough, will be honest and say, look, my family has issues. My father has always been abusive. My mother has always been neglectful. But for the most part, men do not express themselves, and anything that's very embarrassing to their ego, they're not going to be very transparent about it. Women, we're more vocal, we're more expressive. Men, on the other hand, are not. So in many cases, a lot of things you're going to end up having to finding out on your own, and a lot of things you're going to have to handle on your own. And in some cases, it's better if you handle it on your own, because many times these men are not going to check their family like you want them to check them. They'll try to give them a soft down watered version where my wife just doesn't think it's nice that y'all knock on her, that y'all don't even knock on the door, y'all just walk on in, and she don't think that's cool. No, what you want them to say is, look, my wife, that's her household too. Y'all can't just be walking up in there disrespecting my wife. See, that's what you want him to say. You want him to, address it in a roughneck manner. Like, you want him to be real masculine and put his foot down. Yeah, y'all not going to run up on my wife. I'm not tolerating that. You have some men who will get down like that. But in case you don't, in case you have the husband that's very nonchalant and, not liking to deal with conflict, so he avoids it by any means possible, kind of leaving you out to dry. to deal with it, that's even better, because that means you get to check them the way you need to check them, and it's going to get done correctly. Even in instances, I don't care for my husband fighting all my battles, because he's not going to address it the way I want it to be addressed. Because when I come at you, you're going to get the pure, raw, no Vaseline. See, my husband is going to try to slide it in nice and easy. He's going to try to Vaseline it. And that's where me and him differ. You cross me, I'm coming full force. You disrespect me, I'm coming full force. Now my husband is stern, but he's not as, aggressive at, getting his points across. He's very stern at getting his point across, but he's not as aggressive and vocal as I am, right? So, you have to be the one to set the boundaries. Now, it's a problem if he does not have the balls to set boundaries, but at the same time, he wants to get in the feelings when you set boundaries. Nah, my brother. It can't go both ways. You can't not check them, and then when I say something, now you want to check me. No, we not going there, bro. That we not going to do. Now, this is another case. Another thing I need y'all to understand. Everything I'm telling you, it may not apply to you. You may have a husband that's narcissistic, controlling, demanding, overbearing. He may not allow you. He may, depending on what type of guy you're dealing with, may not want you to confront or say a word to his family. Maybe you have created that kind of relationship, unfortunately, where you sit back and you let him handle everything. I mean, it's not too late to break it, but the chances of trying to break it, especially if y'all been together for a long time, it may cause a lot of chaos and conflict between the both of you, because you done sat back so long and you allowed him to handle it versus you handling it yourself. Now you seen the way he's handling it, the results are not working, so now you want to step in and intervene. Now it's going to be a little bit more turbulent and challenging, and before you can go at the family, you're going to have to try to get some kind of common ground there, you know what I mean? So that's another case. But you have to put your foot down. You're going to have to politely, respectfully let that mother know, let that father know. It's a way where you can express yourself like a woman without coming off as being beastie about it. At the end of the day, those are still his parents. Those are still his people. You got to respect them. You ain't got to like them, but you got to respect them. Nothing wrong. I had to put my father-in-law in his place. Let him know, sir, I get that's how you run your house, but I've been raised in a family in which women was allowed to have a say so. I'm not seedy. We didn't have that culture of the color purple where seedy was told to shut up and be quiet and just pour a glass of water. I had to make him understand that, and I did so respectfully, and even my husband knew it. It is what it is. No difference when it comes to their sisters, their aunts, or whoever. You got some people that are just ignorant and nasty, and they don't know their place. And especially if there was other women in the family before you, if they still got a bond with the previous sister-in-law, the ex-wife, whatever. See, all of that, sometimes that is what makes them not like you, because they still have a bond, you know what I mean? Which to me, I've never been threatened by that, especially if I know the family is messy. I'm good. Y'all can still kick it with old girl. I don't have a problem with that, because I don't talk to y'all enough. I don't affiliate with y'all. I don't hang out with y'all enough to feel some type of way. If you do decide to talk about me to his ex or whatever, I'm good with that. You know what I mean? But you have to be the one to set the boundaries. Don't always look for the husband to do it, because again, these men, they're not going to check it the way you need them to check it, because that's his family. He's going to try to address it in a non-offensive manner, which could come off as if you're not really offended, and you are. Next thing is, depending on how turbulent the relationship is with your in-laws. If it's one of those cases in which you just absolutely cannot communicate with them, y'all don't get along, meaning as soon as y'all come in contact with each other, there's this heavy spirit of of um of rebelliousness to where nobody's willing to give in. In situations like this, there's a good and a bad. Meaning the good thing is, let's start with the bad. The bad thing is, there's not going to be any room for reasoning, because they are set in their ways and you're set in your ways. And the truth of the matter is, everybody's grown. Nobody can make somebody change their mind. Nobody can tell somebody how to speak, when to speak. Everybody's grown. That's the worst case scenario. Y'all will most likely never see eye to eye. The good thing about it is, because y'all don't speak, that's an advantage. Meaning that you don't have to pretend to be someone that you're not, because y'all already got that vibe, and that vibe is very evident that we're never going to be in that place in that safe space to where we'll be able to get along or communicate. The advantage in that is that they're not going to hardly bother you, because they already don't talk to you. They already don't get along with you. Don't take it personal. Listen, if his in-laws don't invite you to anything, they don't talk to you, they don't really have much to do with you, consider it a blessing, because the worst type of betrayal is of in-laws who act like they like you and then go behind your back and pull something really, really, foul. At least they let you know we don't like you. You see it up close in your face. See it up close in your face. They're still kicking it with his ex. They still, cool with his ex-fiance, whatever. At least you see it. Consider that a blessing, versus you thinking they have your best interest and they have absolutely nothing to do with the ex. And you get comfortable, you let your guard down, you start letting them come to your house a lot, you start being transparent, sharing things with them, only for them to run their mouth. The other members of the family are either the ex that's still hanging around for whatever reason and won't just move on and create their own family, whatever. Consider that a blessing if you have in-laws who don't rock with you, who don't want anything to do with you. The only bad part is if you have children. Unfortunately, sometimes the way people feel about you, your children get the backlash of that. You may have in-laws because you don't get along with mama, that they don't want to be grandparents to the child you have from their son. All of that comes with the territory. Respect that. It's better that they let you know up front they don't care for you and your children than act like they do, and you let your guard down and you allow your children to go over there and spend a night. You leave your children in the company and your children being low-key disrespected. It may not be nothing major, like, they the last one to eat. The grandmama feed the mother-in-law feed all the grandkids she crazy about, and your kids will be the last ones. It's all kind of ways in which people are very malicious to your children that you may not even pick up on, or your children may not even know about it, So consider the blessing if you have in-laws that let it be known that they don't like you. However, I have to play devil's advocate now. If you did something to his family to make him not like you, let's say if you was a side chick, okay, and they had a bond with his wife, you may not ever get that real recognition that you're looking for, okay? Let's just be honest, because some of you sisters, y'all be in denial. Y'all act like you don't know why. That's something Ariana Air Mattress would do. She will go right on in, you know what I mean? And if the family, I'm just hypothetically speaking, and if Martell family wouldn't receive her, which we know Marlene will pretty much go for anything, but just saying hypothetically, she would be offended. Like, you have women like Air Mattress that would want Martell's family to accept her, knowing that she's the demise of the marriage, and would get offended if they don't. You have a lot of women who think like that. If you are a side piece, if you or took part in him losing his family prior, you can't get in your feelings if his mother does not receive you in a manner, or his not just mother, his family in general. If the mother, the father, and the siblings don't like you, you can't feel some type of way. So I just wanted to make sure I said that, because a lot of you women, y'all don't be honest with yourselves. Y'all get in these type of situations and you play crazy like you don't know why. But I don't know why they don't like me. I never done nothing to them. Look, if you came into that family off of some foul pretenses, then you don't have the right, you know what I'm saying, to be expecting all this positive, recognition, because it's not going to happen. Now, since we are well within 40 minutes of the content, please make sure y'all hit that like button. If you haven't joined the family, please subscribe and join the lounge. So let's get down to the tips, right? Because I can be on here all day explaining all the different scenarios. Everybody's situation is different. Like I said, some of you may get along with the mother-in-law but not the father-in-law. Get along with the father-in-law but not the mother-in-law. Get along with both the mother and the father-in-law but don't get along with the siblings. Or get along with the siblings and don't get along. It's so many different scenarios, right? So that's why I don't want to go too far into that, because it's like a rabbit hole. So let me just give you some tips, right? Let me go straight into the tips. First things first. I probably already said it. Don't look for your husband to set boundaries. You said it, okay? Be respectful, but be stern. Don't wait for it to get far out of hand and then you address it. To be sure that you're not jumping to conclusion, probably, look once or twice to make sure. But that third time should be confirmation that this is something that needs to be addressed. Because sometimes women, we can jump to conclusions, especially if we're already feeling guarded. So make sure, it's one thing, okay, they came to the house one time unannounced, okay. Then they do it a second time. It's either time to nip it in the bud, or, just to be sure, you can wait it out one more time. But the sooner you handle it, the better. Don't let it get too far out of hand by the time you decide to address it. Second thing, when it comes to dealing with in-laws, this is a no-brainer, but they don't need to know what's going on in your household, when it comes to your significant other. I don't care how tight you is with a sister. I don't care how tight you is with the mama. As I stated before, his family is his family. And if there was a decision that had to be made, at the end of the day, they're going to side with him. That's just the bottom line. You get what I'm saying? So, don't put things out there with his family that you don't have to worry about that may come back and bite you later. Just be very selective with the information that you share. If you are close to his mother-in-law, his sisters, and so far it's been no issues, even with that, still be mindful with all that you share and put out there, because when the grits hit the fan, at the end of the day, they're going to take his back, not yours. Third, don't be willing to compromise yourself just to make everybody else feel important. I've heard women agree to go to family reunions they didn't really want to go to, but just because their husband wanted them to go, they went. Family functions, family events. If the vibe is never right when you go, there's a difference. Like I tell people, there's a difference between being invited and being welcomed. Okay, anybody could be invited to something, but it does not mean that you're going to feel welcome. If you get a funky vibe and you just don't feel like you can be yourself, the aura, the energy is off, because I tell you, men are very oblivious to stuff. Because they're so into what they want and what they want to do, they don't notice your uncomfortability. They're not feeling the vibe that you really don't want to be there. That's going to be something that you're going to have to be willing to stand on and say, look, I will support you from a distance, but I'm not going. Many men and women, many couples have gotten into arguments because you have some men who feel like, as women, we're just being petty. Why are you still upset about that? That happened 5 years ago, this and that. My thing, if your spirit is not in the right place, don't fake it. It's going to show. They're going to know it. They're going to feel it. Even if you're sitting in the corner, not talking to anybody. Even if you're trying to be friendly. Listen, energy never lies. It's better to not be present than to be present and you're not in a good spiritual space in which your spirit is inviting. If you don't have a good relationship or a good connection with his people, going to events and reunions is only going to enhance that. It's only going to agitate it, because if you're already feeling some type of way, it ain't going to take much for somebody to look at you wrong, say something to you wrong, to just worsen what you already feel. You feel me? Pay attention to your intuition. If something is telling you you don't need to be there, then don't go. You know what I'm saying? And you can still be a woman about it. If he wants to go to the family reunion, a family event, you can make some macaroni salad for him to take with him. You can still be a woman about it. You don't have to be a beast. You know, you can still be a woman and keep your distance at the same time. You know, there's nothing wrong with if his mama them having some type of family picnic or something, and you know you don't want to be there because the energy is always off. You can still send your token of I'm family, but I'm distant family. Okay, make them people some potato salad, make them some red velvet cake or something, or buy a cake from the cake store and keep it moving. Tell your husband, hey, you know, send it here, you know, blah blah blah. Let them know I asked about them and hope everybody's having a good day, and leave it at that. You have to protect your energy. Sometimes these men could be very bossy and pushy because it's more about their ego. They don't want it to look like they ain't got their stuff together, so they want you to be on their arms, even if it means you're miserable being in the presence of their people. I'm like this. If I don't want to go, I'm not going. There's nothing you can say to make me feel bad. The most I can do to lessen your embarrassment, if you're feeling like me not being around you, is make your people feel some type of way. I'll make something, you know, a dish or some cookies or something like that or whatever, or send them some pictures, some up-to-date pictures of their grandchildren. You can always send something with him, you know what I mean, if that's the case, if he's one to feel some type of way, because we know men, they can be egotistical, but at the same time they have a soft spot, especially when it comes to his family. So you can do that. You don't have to always be on the scene. Now, play devil's advocate. You could do the opposite. You could actually attend the functions and just don't stay long. Just drive separately. You could actually attend the function and respectfully speak, you know, let everybody know, hey, I'm still around, whatever. Fix your plate of food, hang around for 30 minutes, and get in your car and leave. A lot of times, me and my husband, we drive separate to different events. His people is just not my cup of tea. It's no shade or nothing like that. They just do things different from what I'm used to doing. It don't make me better. It don't mean that, you know, my family don't have no issues. We spotless, but I can't deal with. I can't be in the midst of company with things not structured and not in order. Y'all got kids running all over the place. Y'all got kids sitting amongst adults when adults trying to have a conversation. Play certain old school music. Y'all getting offended because we're not playing the Mississippi Mass Choir because y'all so holier than thou and all of that. I just like to go. I just like to travel separately. He drives his truck. I drive my car. Ain't no problems or whatever at the home front. He knows I'm very particular. My husband will stay all day. He'll stay for 2 days with his family. Okay? Me on the other hand, I got a 30 to 45 minute tolerance for other people. After that, after I ate my food, whatever, I have my drink, I'm ready to go. He's a grown man. I'm not going to tell him how long he could be with his people and how long he can't be with them. And I need to be home at a certain time because I know when I'm around my people, I can talk for hours and hours and days, especially when I'm around my mom. I can go for hours, my aunts and stuff like that. But I don't have that same energy with his people. I just don't. They just do things different. You know what I mean? So we drive separate and we respect that. You know what I mean? And just sometimes, you know, you can lessen the blow just by showing up and exiting gracefully, you know, or like I said, just don't go at all. Or you have some women who do be present based off the strength they know their significant other family don't like them, and just to prove a point, like, okay, yeah, I know y'all ain't feeling me, but guess what? I'm right here and I ain't going nowhere. If that's what makes you comfortable, still being present despite how his people feel about you and how they may have treated you or said things about you, then you know you got to do what floats your boat. It's all about doing what makes you comfortable, not appeasing to him, knowing you're miserable and you're not in a good space, because your negative energy is going to come off. And if you're a Scorpio like me, baby, our facial expressions are a dead giveaway. But y'all Virgos are something else too. Y'all Virgos, y'all something else with y'all facial expressions, honey. I had an ex-friend of mine who was a Virgo, and I said, baby, that thing, she ain't had to say nothing, but the look all over her face was snitching on her. I hate my face. My face snitches on me so much. I hate it, hate it, hate it. Listen, y'all, I be trying to play it so cool. I be trying to keep my composure. But listen, y'all, my face is my worst enemy. And my husband tells me all the time, like, no matter how nice I try to be, no matter how cool, he says my face is a dead giveaway. My face will let a person know I don't like you. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Y'all pray for me on my face. Because I can't hide how I feel. And I hate that so bad. I want to change, showing how I feel. It be all over my face. And it really irks me, y'all. I'm trying to work. I'm a work in progress, right? Anyway, get into some more tips, right? If you're hearing things that's being said about you, you can do one of two things. You can either react, because nobody likes to be talked about. Confront I don't appreciate y'all, having these family these bash fests where y'all getting together bashing me and y'all don't even know me. Or you can take that information and retain it for yourself. It's not good for you to let everybody know that you know how they feel about you. That's to your advantage. And listen, it took me years to figure this out. It took me years to finally understand everybody ain't got to know what you know about how they feel about you. It's a saying that, I don't know if one of these pastors or somebody said it, it's not my business to change your mind how you feel about me. It's really not my business. If that mother-in-law, sister-in-law, and whatever them, they already have a notion about you, it is not your job to make them see different. It's not your job confronting them, thinking once you put them in their place and you let them know, oh, okay, I'm good now. Now they're going to stop talking about me because I done put them in their place and confronted them. They're entitled to have their opinion. Everybody don't have to like you. Everybody don't have to accept you. Everybody don't have to want you. Sometimes rejection is a blessing. I remember being in a space where I would feel offended at times when I felt like, hey, how come they still cool with the ex-wife? How come they still hanging out and blah, blah, blah? I'm feeling all type of way. But baby, when I look back, I said, you know what? That's a relief for me. I'm glad she's still dealing with him because I don't have to. I don't have to entertain. I don't have to have that pressure of, because I know my place. I know my position. You can't shake me. I don't care if you have a bond with the family or you've been in the family in the past. It's not going to shake my position. I'm not threatened by you. After a while, that fell off. You know what I mean? Because she moved on, got remarried. All of this standing by, over time, it faded, because life changes. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that was her way of trying to let me know she still got rank. I'm like, I don't give a damn about your rank. I got the ring. I don't care nothing about your rank and what position you had or whatever the case is. That don't matter to me. You feel me? So, rejection is protection. Sometimes God knows that certain people don't have your best interest, and He will not allow them to attach themselves to you, no matter how much you try to bond with them. Respect the process and accept it. In the long run, it's going to be for your good. Other tips that I would like to give when it comes to dealing with in-laws, sometimes it's not the situation, it's how you look at it. Okay, if you know these individuals are still not really receiving you correctly, they don't appreciate, don't value the blessings that you can contribute to the family as a good daughter-in-law, as a good sister-in-law, whatever the case is. I lost my train of thought. Basically, what you have to understand is that when you come to the realization that is my husband or my significant other family versus that's my family, you'll become less offensive. Because if you take it to heart, like, his family's supposed to be my family, why would they do this? Why they betray me like this? Why are they so shady? If you look at it as, this is my husband's family, I'm just joined to them through marriage, once you accept that ideology of it versus this my family and they're supposed to ride with me and ride for me, you'll become less disappointed. It won't make you feel no type of way. There's nothing wrong with, okay, I'm married. That's my husband family. That's my husband people. You know, those ain't my in-laws. Those are my outlaws. Sometimes you have to mentally keep yourself in check and realize that you are only a part of his tribe by marriage, not by blood, not by relation, not by none of that. When you stop taking these people deep to heart, nothing they say or do will not move you. You won't get offended by it. There is that you have to learn how to divide. There's different compartments. It's you, him, the children y'all have together. You can separate that. There's nothing wrong with saying, "Oh, those my husband. That's my husband's parents. Those are my children's grandparents." When you get it out of your mind, that's my mother-in-law, my father-in-law. Yeah, we know about marriage and paper, whoop-de-woo, yeah. But mentally, you have to learn how to separate yourself from these individuals, or it will drive you crazy. It will make you mad of them not accepting you. And sometimes, like I said, rejection is a blessing, because some of these in-laws are very needy. They always want something. They're always in a bind, always need a favor. Listen, the less people you deal with, the less bull crap you have to, the less people you chill with, the less bull crap you got to deal with. Okay, that's basically what I'm saying. Less is best. Don't take it personal if his mom was still reaching out to the ex-wife. They still hanging out. The father-in-law still hanging out with the baby mama. That's less for you to have to deal with. That's less people you got to please, you got to accommodate, you got to be there for. Don't take it personal. Next, don't let what they do come between you and him. Long as you and him got to understand it. He's going to vouch for his people. Long as him vouching for his people is not causing distress in your marriage, within your household, let him ride for his people. He want to ride for his mama, ride for his daddy, okay. But the moment you're riding for them, it's causing problems with us. Now we got a problem. Because your position going to stand. You as a wife, you first automatically. The Bible already speaks that. When the man leaves under his parents' care, now he has to join as of one with his wife. You already going to be front of line. It don't matter how much the mama call or the daddy call, what rank they think they have, that's done once y'all married. Period. You don't have to prove your stance. You don't have to put people in their place and let them know I'm his wife and I say gonna go. Listen, the proof is in the pudding. Let your actions speak louder than words. You don't always have to be on the scene to prove your position. Every time you come around them with that ring on that finger, every time it's already set in motion. The deal is sealed. You don't have to be in every and you don't have to always show up on the scene in every aspect and element of his life to prove your position. If you're secure within yourself and he's making you secure, that's all that matters. You don't owe that. Keep in mind, both y'all been raised different. You know what I mean? I'm a city girl. My husband is a country guy. Okay, so our outlook on things, our morals, our principles are the same, but then they're different at the same time. So you're not supposed to always be on the same accord with his family. My family, we like to play old school music and play cards and drink a little bit. His family, they pretty much on a I don't want to say religious, but they pretty much on a different. The element is different. They don't believe in the drinking and the playing the cards and listening to too much R&B. Mostly gospel and religious music and stuff like that. And that's cool. That's fine. You got to be able to vibe in different elements. You got to be a chameleon. You got to be able to merge into your environment or whatever. So, if you can be civil enough to attend certain things, but learn how to just kind of merge in or whatever, then without it taking you out of your character, make you feel uncomfortable, then so be it. Also, keep in mind, communication is definitely the key. There's nothing wrong with voicing your opinion about how you feel, respectfully to your husband. Look, your people, I understand when I married you that it's a package deal, but just certain things is out of my element. I'm not comfortable with. I don't like the force fake vibes. Either I genuinely gonna like who I'm around, or I got to force myself to fake it, and the energy is going to be my dead giveaway. And I'm not going to put myself in a position where my energy is going to be off, because that defeats the purpose. You know what I mean? So men and women, we're going to always differ. We're not going to always see eye to eye, and that's cool. But you have to set boundaries. And the main thing is, you and your husband, y'all have to have an understanding. Everything else will fall in the line. Everything else will fall into place. You can't worry about mother-in-law, father-in-law, all of that. As long as they see that both of y'all are on the same course, that's less stress. It's basically boils down to you and him being a team. Period. Even if y'all have different plays. You know, even on the football team, y'all can have the same plan, but everybody got different position. You got the quarterback. You got the what else? They got the quarterback and the front runner. I don't know the football positions, but y'all get what I'm saying. But everybody on the same team, but everybody got to play a different position. And that's the same way marriage goes. Y'all can be on the same team. You don't have to agree. You don't have to see eye to eye. And don't allow your in-laws, your differences, or their cultural differences, or their religious differences. Don't allow that, to cause, conflict within your marriage, your home front. You got to protect your home front at all times, by any means necessary. And for the husbands that are stubborn and don't want to listen, when you call out certain stuff to them, when you try to tell them about how their sisters are, when you try to tell them about how their mom and their daddy is, you address it, say it one time, and don't even address it no more. Do not beat it like a dead horse. Sooner than later, it will blow up in his face. It is not your job to make him see that his father is a narcissist, that his mother is a pushover, and his sisters are shady. It will all come to light. Sit back and let God do his work, do his magic. You don't always have to, keep drilling the same thing over and over. Once you done said it, and he still wants to, fall up behind his people because that's his family and this and that, then guess what? You fall back and let him handle stuff on his own. Remove yourself from the equation. That way he can see it clearly. Because as long as you're there fixing everything that you're trying to make him see, he's not going to see it. Sometimes, even in marriage, you got to leave these men out in the cold and let them deal with the backlash. Be a wife, be supportive, but at the same time, when you as a wife, your intuition is telling you how to lead him, and he doesn't respect your intuition, he doesn't respect your wisdom, he's going to do it his way. That's what. Fall back and let the chips fall where they're made. If this was this was good content today, y'all, hit that like button. Let me know what y'all think about this. Is there any additional suggestions or comments that y'all would like to add when dealing with in-laws? Leave that in the comment section. For some of the other sisters out there who are not married or are thinking about getting married, or never know, life changes. This information is going to be essential. Maybe you got a niece, a friend, a daughter who's going through this right now. Just let me know. If I feel like I've addressed everything, I'll pretty much leave it at that. If I feel like there's other things that I should have reiterated on, I will do a part 2, because y'all know I'm always quick to do a part 2 if I feel like I done left out some things. So other than that, I think all is well, but I did want to also do my little coffee chat in which I discuss some things going on within the celebrity world. So y'all, starting with your boy 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼, okay? As y'all know, if y'all haven't been keeping up, Brian McKnight has a very volatile relationship with his sons. And we've been hearing about him definitely, really milking that, trying to torment his family by constantly and consistently bragging on his new wife, with her children, who he basically puts on a pedestal, constantly bragging about his non-colored wife and non-colored stepchildren, bragging about them on Facebook, bragging about how great they are, bragging about the things he bought them, and it's a shame that you will have a man with this much feminine energy that's willing by any means necessary, to torment his children, all because he does not get along with the mother. And it just goes to show you, we see men like Martell, it's many men who do this. If they don't have a good relationship with the mother, they take it out on the children. And to me, that's very weak. That definitely shows the lack of masculinity. So basically what has happened is 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 decided that he wanted to come forth and give his own opinion about Brian McKnight's situation to his estranged son, which he basically really had no business even getting up under there and even commenting and saying anything. But we know that Tyrese, which everybody calls 𝓜𝓸𝓬𝓱𝓪'𝓼 because he's always crying. We all know that Tyrese is he's already in his own mess, his own chaos with his own baby mama, who wants no parts of him. And Tyrese has showed us over and over and over how he is a certified ban, BAN, and I'm gonna keep it rated G over here. I'm trying to work on my profanity, right? And of course he's gonna have an opinion about another man who's also not in a good space with his baby mama, because Tyrese is very bitter. He's a bitter baby daddy, and therefore he felt it was necessary, right, to come out the blue and go on Instagram and give his opinion about Brian McKnight and his son's situation. So baby, Nico clapped back, after Tyrese decided to get involved and give his 2 cents, which he shouldn't do. But again, the bitter baby daddy, because he's not on good terms with his baby mama, he feel like he is obligated to say something. So Brian McKnight's son Nico slams Tyrese Gibson for defending his estranged dad. I know the 90s R&B brotherhood blood is thicker than anything, but you should sit this one out, champ, Nico McKnight wrote. In other words, he's saying, look, I know that you are R&B singer, because Brian McKnight is my father. Brian McKnight is an R&B singer. You have already built an alliance with my father, so therefore I don't expect you to really understand anywhere where I'm coming from, and that should even be more the reason why you should sit this one out. But further, Brian McKnight's son is responding to Tyrese Gibson's defense of the singer's comments about his eldest children. Nico McKnight, Brian McKnight's son, said Tyrese used to sleep under our pool table when I was a kid. In response, to Tyrese's Instagram, right? So Nico further goes on and says, I know the 90s R&B brotherhood blood is thicker than anything, but you should sit this one out, champ. You have relationships to fix with your own children and your own past decision you've made on behalf of Pussy and Power. And I said that with 2 Z's, okay? The photographer continued referencing Gibson's relationship with his daughter Shayla, 16, whom he shares with ex-wife Norma, and Soraya, 5, whom he shares with ex-wife Samantha. Nico further continues and says the allegiance to these 2 things is what keeps you guys from seeing that the only thing that matters in the end is family. Real men can see past the bull-ish. Let me stop through. The 46-year-old chemo infusion has me ready to fade Jody, he added. This was his way of also announcing he's currently undergoing chemotherapy, y'all, for his current cancer diagnosis. That's not right. Peace and prosperity, Nico further concluded. So April 13th, McKnight have published on Instagram, in order to live a life that you love, you have to get rid of evil and negativity, right? Basically, McKnight was in referencing his family to being the bad seeds that he needed to get rid of in order to be at peace with himself, even if it's related to you. So basically, That was McKnight's way of basically disowning his children, Brian Jr. and Nico, who he shares with Julie McKnight, his ex-wife, and Brianna from a previous relationship in which he had on his wife during the duration of their marriage. So it's the audacity for me, like, you've been this upstanding husband and father, and to, turn around and just basically, treat your family in a manner in which you treat them is bananas to me. But you have a lot of men who do this, who want absolutely nothing to do with the children because they just cannot stand the mother of the child, or either if they have anything to do with the children, they mistreat them because they got a lot of animosity towards the mother of their children. With that being said, the only thing I can say on that is Brian McKnight will get his own karma. And to play devil's advocate, and I may lose some brownie points for this because I really don't know what Nico and his brother Brian Jr. could have done to give Brian McKnight, I don't know what they could have possibly have done to make him resent them. Have absolutely nothing to do with them. I know children, and again, I'm going to play devil advocate because I have to be mutual. Children really have a sense of entitlement, and like I said, I'm not saying that Brian is wrong or right. By no means I'm not saying that, but because I really don't know the whole situation, I don't know. I'm only hearing pieces from bloggers, pieces from people. I don't know what possibly could have happened. For every cause there's an effect. I did hear something in alignment of Brian McKnight before it got to this place, having a deal with them, wanting him to sponsor them more, and financially they thinking that because their father is this successful singer that he's obligated to paying their way through things. I don't know. Like I said, I got to play devil's advocate because I don't know the whole story. And as women, we have that nature of siding automatically with the children and the mother because we just know it's a lot of ain't-ish dudes out here who don't take care of their children. So anytime we hear a man disregarding or disowning his children, it makes us feel some type of way, especially when we are single moms and we struggling and dealing with ain't deadbeat baby daddies. It hits a soft spot. And it automatically wants you to side with the mother. Like, you're a man. You should never leave your children. You support your kids no matter what. But at the same time, children can be very disrespectful. They get out of pocket. And sometimes the mother plays a very huge key into why children feel they have the right to disrespect their fathers. Now, I'm not saying that is the case here. Maybe that was not the situation, that Brian McKnight just is an ain't-ish deadbeat father. That could very well be. But because I really don't know the whole thing in and out, only hear bits and pieces, I got to be non-biased. I have to be non-biased because I have personally experienced how children, stepchildren, and all of that could be. Sometimes your stepchildren are more appreciative for what you do than your own biological children, and vice versa. You do have children that think because they mothers or fathers make a certain amount of money or got a certain amount of notoriety that they are automatically entitled to that. So either way, I don't like how it's being handled. I really wish publicly that Brian McKnight and his sons can talk behind closed doors, and they are old enough now to where he should be able to just talk with them without the mother, if in an event him and the ex-wife don't see eye to eye. I really don't know, but what I will say is I hope at some point before it's too late that somehow, some way, they can come to a common ground and be able to resolve their issues before it's too late. Now Brian McKnight did further say too that He claims, I guess after the backlash, he wasn't talking about his children when he made the statement that they are a product of sin, which I don't believe that. I believe he was addressing his sons being nasty and hateful. I didn't raise them, their mothers did. That's kind of funky, because that's basically saying that you was not an active parent. I mean, anybody who hears that would think, okay, if the mothers raised them, that means you was not an active parent. Or either you saying that you were an active parent, but they got the mindset of their mothers, and you do have some women who brainwash their children to hate their fathers. You got women who hate the fathers and they want the children to feel the same way. 50 Cent went through that with his first son, Marquise, and ex-wife Keisha, whatever her name, ex-girlfriend Keisha, whatever, but I ain't gonna go all into that because that's a whole nother rabbit hole. And he says, know the whole story before quoting the Bible. I will say that I do believe that Brian McKnight does appear to have some narcissistic tendencies. It's just inappropriate. And, everybody's going to have their different opinion. You honor thy mother, thy father. I'm from the old school, unfortunately, where no matter what your parents said or did, you got to respect them. Period, 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 period. The social media now and all is giving people ground to speak their opinion and feel like they can say what they want to say, and they don't care if it's towards their father, their grandmother. So it's a sticky situation. I understand both sides. Everybody may not agree with that. You have some entitled, disrespectful, grown children, and then you do have some deadbeat fathers who will create a whole family and act like their children prior to their new family never existed, especially if there's still some resentment towards the ex-wife. So only thing we can do is pray for them and hope that sooner than later they work out their differences, because Brian McKnight tried to do a show, tried to book a show. He lost a large amount of his supporters and fans. People are not going for it, men and women. So if he wants to continue to support his new family that he's so crazy about, and his new baby who he dropped his name so he can be named, so that way the baby could be named after him, that's just how malicious he is. He don't even want his oldest sons to share his legacy, his name. He's willing to change the name. I think he has changed the name to suit the newborn son he just had. Like I said, I don't know what these young men could have did, but I know children got their own evil ways too, and women, we automatically want to side with children without knowing the whole story. So I don't know. I'll look more into it because I'm trying to figure out. I need to know both sides clearly. I know all of what the sons are saying, but I really don't know Brian McKnight's stance, and I know a lot of y'all may not even care, but you got to be non-biased and know the whole situation. So Ricky Smiley, the comedian, has decided that he wants to take Nico and Brian McKnight's children, basically. Let me just say that, under his wing. So he's willing to help them out, or support them. I don't know if that's going to be financially or emotionally or not, because Ricky Smiley, he just lost his son a couple of years ago from a drug overdose, and I know inside personally, because I have ties to the Smileys, and I will politely say it this way, he was not the ideal great dad that most people would think. However, all families have their issues, so I'm not going to poke too many holes in that. But basically, I guess being that he lost his son, he has a soft spot seeing families that are divided, and maybe that may be Ricky Smiley's way of trying to heal or feeling like he can give back or whatever the case is. And basically, Smiley took to Instagram to share a video that he was appalled, stunned and horrified by the singer's recent exchanges with his children. He didn't like how Brian McKnight and his children are basically beefing with each other. So in the light of the comments, Smiley basically just said, I want you to know that you have a lot of support out here. If anyone gets this message out to Brian McKnight's 2 sons and daughters, you are always welcome to the state of Alabama, where you have men and you also have uncles, and you have a lot of people that take on the kids that have been abandoned by fathers. Smiley went on to explain that if McKnight's kids ever feel unloved or need a father figure, there are people like himself who will be more than happy to take on that role for them. You are not thrown away. You are not garbage. You are loved and you are respected. To be continued. Furthermore, Smiley captioned his post with a few additional words for McKnight's kids. I want the adult children of hashtag Brian McKnight, who've been hashtag disowned, to know they have a lot of support out here. You are not thrown away. So I don't think it's any harm in that. Hey, if, being that he lost a son, that was part of his karma for not always keeping that line of communication, and maybe he's learned from that. And sometimes pain has a way of making you want to step in and intervene and be there for other people. It gives you some type of hope, right? So I'm not gonna knock that. You know what I mean? Big ups to Ricky Smiley for willing to extend himself and help Brian McKnight's children get some type of support. So nothing wrong with that. These days we need all the support we could possibly get. Because I still believe Ricky Smiley is grieving, because him and his son had a really, really bad, turbulent relationship. And Ricky's son never really felt like he could measure up to what Ricky wanted, and in the end, it led to other things. So, big ups anyway to everybody that's willing to support the Brian McKnight children. I support them as well. Just hopefully they use the situation to make them better, not bitter, because there's a lot of children out here that got abandoned fathers who want absolutely nothing to do with them, and they're not alone. It's many that are going through it. Also, y'all, in other coffee chat, we also got news that Shaunie O'Neal has finally admitted, and I don't know why this is a no-brainer, that she never really loved Shaq like people thought she did. I don't know why people are shocked by that, because the thing is, a lot of these women who get with these successful men, these athletes, these football players, basketball players, whatever, look wise, a lot of these guys are not the cat's meow. No disrespect to Shaq. Yeah, he's a millionaire, talented man, successful entrepreneur, but look wise, that would not be something that I would want to wake up to every morning. He's just not an attractive man. I just listen, who am I? I ain't nobody, but I'm just saying, he's not pleasing to the eye. But Shaunie wanted that lifestyle, and she opened up about the reasons behind their divorce. They did tie the knot in 2002. The former couple shared 4 children, Court and Sharif O'Neal, who played in NBA G League. However, the marriage hit rough waters, and despite their public image as a charming couple, they divorced in 2011. The road to their divorce was rocky, with Shaq filing for divorce in 2007, only to withdraw the petition later. In 2009, Nielsen also filed for divorce, officially ending their marriage. According to the book that she had written, where she details the events that led to the demise of her marriage to Shaq, it was when Shaq left the Lakers and the couple moved to Miami, where she realized their marriage wasn't working. I enjoyed those sweet early years being a mother and raising my children. My days were always busy with kids and family, and every now and then I go to travel and enjoy a little of the NBA high life, she wrote. But invisibly, my marriage was beginning to crumble. As I've written, it wasn't obvious early on. You know how when you first get sick and the symptoms are so mild that you're not even sure if you're sick. That's how things were in the early years. I was busy and happy and didn't notice what was going on, but as the disease progressed, the symptoms became harder and harder to ignore. Very good analogy. Take Shaquille's habit of going missing. Our chef did all the grocery shopping. His managers paid all the bills. I took all the kids. So where was he going in the morning, during the day, and at night? No one works out that often. when we moved to Miami, I even heard the rumor that he had a condo in Miami. I started to get suspicious, but he always had an answer, and I could never prove anything. Eventually, I was forced to admit that my family life wasn't as blissful, as perfect as I wanted it to be. Of course, you know what? A lot of women, industry wives, they find this out the hard way. Whether you're with an athlete, a famous actor, a famous rapper, CEO, producer, you find out that it's really not all of what it's cracked up to be. That these men are constantly away, constantly traveling. They're not hands-on fathers now. They're going to make sure you have the big mansion. They're going to make sure your lights, your water never turned off. They're going to make sure they make the money where your kids go to the best schools, where they can participate in all these expensive activities. But it does not negate to the fact that these men are never present. And a lot of them are very whorish. They go out on the road. They're traveling. They're creeping and sneaking. With, you know, women in the hotel lobby, fans, followers, and it's a lot that comes with it. That you basically are a single married woman, all right. And as I stated, even though she had all of this life of luxury, she was not really happy. Nevertheless, she was wise with it. She made her bread, had her own show, produced her own show, Basketball Wives, you know. You know, she made good with it. You know, some of these women, they get into money, and they mess up, and they out here struggling, like Nicole Murphy, Eddie Murphy's ex-wife. She took all of her millions that she won from her marriage settlement, and she messed up and invested it into a crook and lost a lot of money behind that. So, you know, Shani did make good use of the notoriety off of her ex-husband's name. They had massive mansions with luxury cars and all of that, but it still did not subdue what she was going through or what she felt. She further says, looking back, I don't know what I was ever really looking back. I don't know that I was ever really in love with the man, but I was in love with the idea of being married to the man I had a family with. I was in love with the idea of building a life together. I truly did enjoy spending time with him. Road trips gave me a chance to be with my husband and spend the NBA life. So basically, it was a lifestyle that she loved more than him. Isn't that ironic? It's a lot of women who are with men who they really don't want. It's just a lifestyle. Sheree Whitfield, Bob Whitfield. Come on now, look at Bob. Look at Bob. Who would want to wake up to that every morning? Would you want something like that on top of you? Would you want something like that laying up on you? How Sheree Whitfield went all those years not cringing every time this man rubbed up on her, I don't know, but obviously she was enjoying it because she done had children. Basically, this is a no-brainer. Shawnee, we know you was not feeling that man, okay? If he would have been a janitor at Popeyes somewhere, you would have not given him a second look. The majority of these women in the industry wives, they're with these men because of the money. They really don't want them, not attracted to them. Yeah, he got you this mansion, this Lamborghini, this Rolls Royce, but he got dry dick vibes. He's boring, you know. Even though y'all can go out to every restaurant, y'all can do all kind of things together, you just don't like this man. He's not doing it for you. He's not fun. He's not exciting. The only thing that's making that exciting is the money. Other than the money, you have zero interest in his looks. You're not into him sexually. You're not into him spiritually. A lot of women have played this role just to keep that bankroll, that lifestyle. You got to play the role to keep the bankroll. And now she's admitting that. You know what I mean? And big ups to Shawnee. She seems like she's so much happier. She seems like with the man she's really happy with. Keep in mind that Shawnee was married to a pastor before she got with Shaq. Keep in mind she also had a child before she got with Shaq, alright? She left her minister husband for some money. So yeah, it was bound to come with some repercussion of you being miserable with a man who had all that money. And see, she right back to a man in ministry because she realizes that's really where she should have been all the time, you know. being with these stars and these celebrities is not all what it's cracked up to be, ladies. Some of these men are just as boring and dry and dull as a box of rocks. Other than their money, there's no interest. But this is the thing: after you done bought everything, after you done been anywhere, after you traveled, if there was no real love, there was no real chemistry, there was no real connection, it gets stale really quick. And Shawnee got bored, and she had nothing to lose at that point by letting go and moving on. So anyway, y'all, appreciate it for y'all hanging out with me in the chat. It's your girl, your diva knowledge lady Mocha. Hit that like button, representing Mocha's Ladies Lounge. Y'all be blessed, take care, and y'all know I'm going to be coming up with some more content and some sermons very soon. Take care, love y'all. Hit the like button on the way going out. Be blessed.